St Martin's families, it's me, Miss Young, back out in the garden again with my sunflowers. Today's video is just a short one about what to do next with your sunflowers if they're growing really well. It's called potting on. So first of all, these are my sunflowers. This is the one that was in my first video. Look how tall it's grown. So look, if we measured it with the Playmobil people, we would see that it's now 1, 2, 3, 4 Playmobil adults and 1 Playmobil child. That's quite tall. That's grown lots. If I measured it with my ruler, you would see it's over 30 centimetres now. I think that's maybe 34, 35. It's not as tall as Mr. Oliver yet, but it's getting there. This one I planted at the end of February, so this one's about a month old. So we could say, look, this one is probably 2, maybe 3 Playmobil people, or in centimetres, it is about 18 centimetres. I hope your sunflowers are growing as well as these. So, for the next bit of the task, you need to put them in a bigger pot. They're not going to do very well in these little pots, they're not going to grow really big. So you need to think about what kind of container you could use. I really like recycling, so you can see here I've got an apple tree growing in a bucket. I've used an old welly boot that was leaking for some strawberries, and I've got some pansies and crocuses growing in some old colanders sieves. So you can be creative with this challenge. You could use tins. So this is a marmalade tin. I thought that's quite decorative. You'll need an adult to help you to make some holes in the bottom. Or maybe you've got one of these giant baked bean tins from last year still around. You might need to get an adult to drill the holes in the bottom of that. That's quite tough. I'm going to use, this is something that we've all been using, the soap. So this is an empty soap container that we've been using in school. We've used it all up. I've put some holes in the bottom. That's going to make a great planting container. I might take these labels off and decorate it with some nice pictures of sunflowers. Still makes a nice sturdy recycled container. You can use a flower pot. Just make sure it's got holes in the bottom. Or a compost bag. Just cut some holes in the bottom. But make sure whatever you choose is bigger than the container that you've got at the moment. You want your plant to grow a lot bigger. So, what do we need to do? We need to get our compost. I'm going to put some gloves on. I'm going to get some of the compost into my pot. Now don't worry if you've not got compost, you could use soil from your garden. You can buy compost from places like garden centres, but a lot of supermarkets sell it these days as well. Or maybe ask your neighbours if they've got any spare compost. They might be able to help. But soil from the garden works just as well. So I'm putting a little bit more. I don't want to fill it right to the top because I need space for it to have some water in. So probably about 2/3 full, like that. Then, in the middle, I'm going to make a little hole with my trowel, but you can use your hands. Again, don't worry if you've not got gardening tools or gardening gloves. It's okay to get your hands in and get them a bit mucky, so just make the hole a bit bigger. Then, come closer, camera, and look at this. This one is the one I grew first of all. Can you see? Look at these. These are the little roots growing. So the roots, they work like straws and they drink up all the water so the plant will grow really big. Also take up food from the soil. If you want to be really delicate with those, don't touch them. This bag from your soil pellet, that doesn't need to be taken off. That's just going to disintegrate away as it grows. So don't worry, just handle it very gently. You might want to get the grown-up to help you with this. And then very gently into the hole, put your plant like this. into the hole like this and then cover it over and give it a good firm push down. Now you can see these sunflowers, they're a bit wobbly, aren't they? Now one of the things your sunflowers are going to need as they grow is some support, like some sticks. Again, you don't need to go and buy a bamboo stick. If you're out on a walk and you see a stick laying down, don't break it off a tree when it's living. If you see one laying on the ground, you could get a stick on a walk in the holidays. Now you're going to push that in next to your sunflower, nice and sturdy. Now one thing you have to take care of with sticks is they can hurt your eyes. So I would say, maybe I'm using a bit of Play-Doh and a little yogurt pot here, but you can put any little pot on the top or a bit of clay, just so that's not going to poke in your eyes. And what you want to do, get some string or some wool and tie this plant up so it's going to grow nice and straight and tall. Just like that. Don't tie it too tightly. Can you see how gentle I'm being? So again, if it's all a bit tricky, ask someone to help you. 2 pairs of hands often make it easier. And then that's lovely sunflower in that nice pot. Just need a nice big drink of water. I'm going to keep my sunflowers outside from now on. So one of the things you've got to think about when they're outside is keeping slugs and snails away. So things you could do is you could sprinkle some broken eggshells around, or maybe you could use some gritty stones, or I use this in my garden. This is some sheep's wool that someone gave me. Like this, it's very scratchy and itchy, and I put that round my plants, and slugs and snails don't like it, and it helps keep them off. So I'm going to put a bit of that around the base of my sunflower to keep them off. But you want something that's going to keep the slugs and snails away, or just keep an eye out and pick them off and then take the slugs and snails away for a walk, away from your lovely plants as they're growing. Don't worry if you've not got a garden, you can do this indoors, absolutely fine. They will grow just as well indoors as outdoors. Okay, St Martins, I think that's going to get you going. I hope you're going to grow some fantastically tall sunflowers, and I look forward to seeing your pictures and reading your little mini diaries all about your growing projects in the summer term. Good luck, enjoy the Easter holidays, bye!